Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. A returning resident tests positive for COVID-19 5 days after arriving from the mainland. Also tonight, 2 major Saipan restaurants will shut down later this month. And sexual harassment claims in the workplace could be litigated soon in federal court. In sports, fishermen, gas up your boats. You got a derby. Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
Thank you for being here with us.
For finding ways to keep things happening.
For making things feel a lot better.
Thank you.
Energize, realize, feels so good just to be alive. Time's a gift, my time is free. I can spend it on you, you can spend it on me. I can say you'll be blown away by the change you see me. And I feel alright, dance all night, put a little flavor in my life.
Thank you for staying strong with us.
And for us.
Thank you for always connecting.
For keeping us together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding us
That despite this distance,
We are still better together.
Every day, I put the good stuff in. Yeah.
Docomo Pacific, better together.
They'll see you before you see them.
Hafa Day, Tiruwami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Friday, July 3rd, 2020. A returning resident traveling from the mainland has tested positive for COVID-19, and it could mean more changes to testing protocols. The Sinai has 1 new confirmed positive COVID-19 case, bringing the total cumulative case count to 31.
So this is for an individual that did arrive on the 27th of June and got tested yesterday on the 2nd and was confirmed positive also last night. And so we released information first thing in the morning. This is our 31st case. I know that there's been rumors about other cases in the past or that we've had this case before. That is untrue. This is a new case that was confirmed only last night.
The individual is a resident returning home to the Sinai that originated from the U.S. mainland.
This person, for example, that we found, number 31, was asymptomatic, responding to the siren alert saying that I have no symptoms. He was assessed last night. It still presents with no symptoms. And then, but at the same time, you have that information. So we already know where he traveled from. We knew this person traveled from a hot spot in the U.S. and traveled to Guam and then to the Sinai. As soon as we've identified that he came, the result came back positive, our contact tracers are automatically activated. Finds this person, brings him and his family members, whoever he's exposed to the clinic, so that we can make that assessment, and then we will try to contain it as much. And that's the intent, is to contain it as much as we can.
It's been almost a month since the Sinai has seen a positive COVID-19 case, as June 9th was the date of the last confirmed case. But as cases spike in the U.S. mainland and even neighboring islands, Munoz says there will be changes to the testing procedures for arriving passengers.
We are still going to be allowing for self-quarantine, but we're actually going to be adding additional testing. So you may be tested twice upon arrival. So it could be on arrival. We're looking at testing people on arrival starting tomorrow. In addition to that, we're going to be also testing on the 5th day.
Munoz says testing on the 5th day is key to showing if an individual contracted COVID-19 while traveling.
So we could test you on arrival, but there's always a risk, and the risk is that person's the virus may not show. Especially if they recently just got exposed. Right. And so the purpose of waiting for 5 days, after 5 days, allows the virus to be visible upon testing of the PCR.
Since the new quarantine procedures were put into place, all returning residents have showed for the 5th day testing. Protocols for non-residents will remain the same, arriving with a PCR test, take another COVID-19 test at the Saipan International Airport, fill out an online Sinai declaration form at least 3 days prior to landing in the Sinai, SARA alert registration, and self-quarantine. As of July 3rd, 8,217 specimens have been collected in the Sinai. The cumulative number of deaths remains at 2. 2 popular restaurants on Saipan will close their doors later this month. Triple J announced today that Tony Roma's and Capriciosa, located in Garapan, will soon close. An exact date has not yet been announced. Chairman and CEO of Triple J Enterprises, Robert Jones, says they have done their best to try and navigate through this uncharted territory and have exhausted all options. So after much deliberation, they've made the difficult decision to close the doors. The 2 restaurants have been open since the 90s. A new attorney may now be involved in defending IPI in a sexual harassment lawsuit filed against their former pit boss and the company itself. Chris Nelson has more.
The suit was filed by a Chinese CW worker who worked as a pit supervisor inside the IPI casino. She said in her complaint that in January 2017, IPI employee Stephen Brown began to exhibit a sexual interest in her, and that he sent her graphic pictures and videos of himself in an aroused state. She says he also tried to kiss her and touched her hips and buttocks without permission at work. In her complaint, she says when she refused to take his calls, he responded with punitive actions at work. The woman says she filed a complaint in September of 2018 with IPI against Brown with the HR department, but the company did not investigate it properly, and she later learned that he had been given a promotion. In Brown's answer, he says this largely was a consensual relationship and that he was not her supervisor. This week in federal court, former IPI counsel Kelly Butcher asked Judge Mona Manglonia if she could withdraw from the case and be replaced by George Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck is currently on a trip to Vermont and did not appear. Bill Fitzgerald and Bruce Berline represent the plaintiff.
George Hasselbeck's going to take over, but he's in Vermont right now. And I asked the judge, can we make it a little more definite? And I think she set another hearing for the 17th, so hopefully by that time he will enter an appearance.
The woman is asking for punitive damages against Stephen Brown for sexual harassment. He is represented by Marianas Legal Strategy Group, and against IPI for failure to prevent sexual predators in a position of authority. Status conference set for July 17th.
Several villages on Saipan experienced a 6-hour power outage and a disturbance in water services. Our Sally Lemus reports.
Electrical issues at the Power Plant 1 caused a power outage on Thursday, affecting several areas of the island. Director of the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation, Gary Camacho, explains what happened.
It turns out that there was an odor of melting plastic or rubber that was identified in the control room of Power Plant 1. Power plant 1 is our base load power plant, although we have 3. That's the primary base load for the island. Of course, when you smell some of that, obviously it identifies fire or overheating, although there was no fire. We knew, and the electricians and the control room supervisors and the manager of the power plant knew that they had to obviously do an assessment of where that was coming from.
Immediately, a plan was set with the power division engineers and linemen.
The initial scope of work entailed no power outages, and we were going to transfer large loads from one bus bar to the other, to my understanding, and it turns out, and then we were going to try to keep the power on. In doing so, right around 11 o'clock, 11:15, when we did start to transfer, we realized that there were some complications. And then when the southern half of the island, which is the Kiza substation, fed by 34 5 kV conductor from power plant 1, which is our transmission line, turned off, went offline, then we knew there were some issues.
Camacho says it took time to resolve some of the issues, but the most important thing was the safety of the personnel.
The feeders were turned off for safety purposes, so then the staff, electricians at the power plant, can then work on the problem. And it was identified that there was some the heating was coming from an insulator in the panel, and it melted some of the high voltage rubber tape. And so what had happened and what's occurred since then, because the four Kiza substations were turned off approximately 11:30 or right around, and then later in the afternoon we turned off feeders 2 and 3.
CUC began re-energizing late in the afternoon after making sure all protocols were set in place. Power and water was restored at around 6 p.m. I'm Sally Limis for KSPN News.
Thanks, Sally. Coming up, we will preview Liberation Day in the pandemic world we now live in. And managing hotels through a pandemic, we sit down with Brian Shin, the new CEO for Eland in the Marianas.
At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CNMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
It's gonna look a little different in here. Your favorite spot might not be exactly where it used to be. Being next in line might feel a little less like next in line. And our smiles might come with a little extra shine. But McDonald's is ready to take your order as safely as we can.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. Eland Group currently owns and operates the Kensington Hotel, Pacific Islands Club, and Coral Ocean Golf Resort. And they're looking at expanding their footprint in Saipan and the Marpi area. Our Chris Nelson sits down with their new CEO of operations in the Marianas.
This is the third time Brian Shin has lived on Saipan. His first stint 30 years ago when he and his family moved here from Korea, and Shin attended Marianas High School. Did you come to Saipan already speaking English and knowing how?
No. My English was limited at the time, so I had a bit of a struggle. Obviously, you had an education of English education back in Korea, but speaking and dealing with real life is probably a different story. So I had a little bit of a hard time.
After high school, Shin headed to Washington State, where he studied hotel management. He then went to work for the Starwood Hotel Group, which moved him around North America.
Seattle was first one, and then after that I went to Vancouver, Canada, Edmonton, where I got married and had my kids there, and I moved to Toronto. And then I had a chance to join Eland Group back in 2011 and become one of the first 4 members who actually started up our journey here in Saipan.
That journey included the purchase of the Palms Resort from UMDA, the purchase of Coral Ocean Point, and Pacific Islands Club. After a short stint on Saipan, Shin headed to Korea and then on to China.
I was here about a year and a half in Saipan, and then I moved to Korea and then became a GM of the Kensington in Seoul. So then after that I moved to China again, and then spent about 6 years, and then made a U-turn to here this year.
Shin was the COO of a property that Eland purchased in Guilin, China, a leisure destination famous for its karst hills and rivers.
Life in China it was one of the best experiences of my life. It's very fascinating, a lot different than what we know and see from the outside of the world. It's very, very interesting, and then lots of opportunity that I can see, and then people are great there. It's a very interesting place.
You said that it was one of the best experiences. What made living and working in China so interesting?
Well, obviously, I always had a desire to live in different country. That's how I've been living in the last few decades. China opportunity was presented by companies, so I had no hesitation to taking it. Language was one of the fascination that I had for China, and then just living in different country and different culture, different political, system, and then how to react with the people and the society, and then working with the governments and that country was I think it's a really good experience for me.
Shin thought he was going on a quick vacation to Korea in January of this year, but as the pandemic surged, life changed, and he has been unable to return to China. His family's still there, and the hope is to get them here to Saipan sooner than later. In the meantime, a lot of work and also a lot of unknowns.
It is actually a very, very frustrating and scary time. I think the frustration that I personally have as CEO of the company is that this is something that I've never done or experienced. So I often say to my team that this is not something that I'm familiar with. So this is more like we're figuring out the problems and then try to get the solutions together. I think that's the process that we're taking.
While PIC and Coral Ocean Golf remain closed, Kensington is now open for business, and Shin says they have introduced some special room promotions aimed at the local market. We will have more with Brian Shin next week.
Thank you, Chris. It's that time of the year, the Liberation Day commemoration, and this year the celebration will be a little different. It's the 74th Liberation Day celebration in the Sinamai, and the first time going virtual, where Saipan Mayor David Apateng says the parade and festivities will go on, but with the option of playing it safe and watching online.
This is going to be the first time this has been done here in the Sinamai, and since we're going into a new norm, which nobody knows what the new norm is, we thought we'd prepare ourselves.
The theme is Strength and Unity, Mariana Strong. Also unique about this year's celebration is the joining of Tinian, Rota, and the Northern Islands coming together as one Commonwealth.
We're linking Saipan, Tinian, and Rota together virtually. So they're also having Liberation Celebration over in Rota and in Tinian, and we'll be able to watch them here, and they'll be able to watch us over there. And so we're going back and forth between the islands. We have a 5-hour program, and they're going to slip in our entertainment into their entertainment. They have Some of it is live, but most of it is virtual.
All COVID-19 guidelines will be followed if individuals do attend the event in person.
And we've already met with the COVID-19 task force and also with Esther Munia. And we got all the guidelines that they want us to do, which is social distancing. Everybody must wear a mask if you're going to attend it in person.
The parade on Saipan will start at 1 p.m. in Marpi Saturday afternoon. Sword says if you have a banner or something to showcase, join in on the parade. Or you may just line the street side to watch or tune in online.
So this is from Marpi, and we're going to go down to American Memorial Park, make a right there, then we'll be on Beach Road all the way down to Kobler, and then we'll turn up towards the airport.
Then it's time for the entertainment.
At 5 o'clock, our entertainment, it actually starts at 4. We have music at 4, but the actual official opening is at 5 o'clock at Airport Field. And then that goes on until 10 o'clock. We have entertainment all the way till 10 o'clock at night. We will be switching back and forth between the islands for 15 minutes at a time. You have the option of watching it at home in the comfort of your home, or if you want to come down and watch we have a huge LED screen that's going to be showing the videos and also showcasing our entertainment. We have a stage. We have a combination of live and virtual music that will be shown there. In front of the stage, the first 150 feet, we have put circles in the grass where families of 10 can sit in a circle 6 feet apart, and they stay in their little circle. They can also navigate to go out to buy food. There's some food vendors there. All the food is prepackaged, so there won't be any. The CPA has generously gave us the field, but we cannot no alcohol and also no barbecuing over there. But for those that choose to stay in their cars, right behind the grassy area where the families will be sitting, you can stay in your car and watch the celebration from there.
Fireworks will also be on the virtual screen. To tune in on YouTube, type 2020 Sinamay Liberation or watch live on the KKMP Facebook page.
Life gets better. Get on better internet plans with the strongest internet from Docomo Pacific. With whole home Wi-Fi, it's the better way to work, play, and surf at home with the fastest download and upload speeds in the CNMI. Your better internet comes with the free Plume SuperPod for the strongest and safest Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home. Sign up today for as low as $50 a month and get a free smart tablet. Better value for your best connection. Because in everything we do, we are always better together.
Welcome to the Marianas Eye Institute. Our office on Beach Road is staffed with U.S. certified eye care technicians, doctors that have received national recognition, and a friendly, professional staff that will look after you and your loved ones. With over 1,200 eyeglass frames to choose from and an in-house lab, we can make most glasses in about an hour, and we even feature a mobile clinic to bring eye care to you. Keep your eyes healthy and strong with professional eye care at the Marianas Eye Institute.
Buenas sports fans. Buenas sports fans, good news. Check that. Awesome news. The Derby is on like Donkey Kong.
High-ranking honchos in the Saipan Fishermen's Association informed the KSPN2 Sports Department Division of Tournaments that the 2020 International Billfish Derby is locked and loaded, ready to roll. Sort of. The annual tournament has traditionally been a 2-day affair, but as you may have noticed, there's nothing traditional about 2020. The Derby is being cut in half like a clam. In the past, competition took place on Saturdays and Sundays from 6 to 6. This year, fishing. It'll be July 25th, Saturday, from 6 to 5. Sunday has been thrown away like a stonefish. The change could have drastic, game-changing implications. Take this example from 2005. Saipan had 2 straight months of bad weather that forced postponement until September. And that was the difference between experiencing the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Whenever you need heavy equipment to move a fish, you have got to be thinking you have a chance to taste victory. Lawrence Conception says he took his boat and anglers up to the Marpy area, and there they hooked a big one.
It was kind of hard bringing it back up, and it was kind of fighting when we got to the boat, so that's what gave us more problems.
Conception thought he might have a winner when this fish went up on the scales, a 334-pound marlin. He was confident, but not too confident.
It's a game. It ain't over until it's over, you know, so we still have one more day.
The crowd gave this fish a standing ovation. Sunday came and the Charlie Cat, a boat out of Guam, was still in the hunt. They went up north as well. They won the whole thing last year. They also won the fishing tournament in Rota, and they would win again, pulling in a 422-pounder. This fish barely fits in the truck. Captain Quan Lee, angler Jesus Cura, 2005 21st Annual Saipan International Fishing Tournament Grand Prize winners.
As with everything else on this planet, subject to change.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw!
Get your game and gear at Gold's Gym Saipan. Group exercise is a great way to get fit and then stay fit. For something high tempo, go for a ride with one of our instructors in our new spin room. Let's roll. Pilates improves flexibility, builds strength, and develops control and endurance in the whole human body. It also improves coordination and balance. And the Shake Cafe is a great place to stop by for a meal replacement or supplement. See you at Gold's Gym. Go-karts, off-roading, and the driving range now open at Marianas Trekking. Go-kart track will be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays with 50% off when you book online at marianastrekking.com, hours 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Use the promo code HAFA50 to get your discount. Off-roading is open too by reservation. Come on a 90-minute trail ride that is perfect for families. Book online at marianastrekking.com. Golfers, come practice on the driving range. You can even pay online, and we will have the balls waiting for you. Come see us weekends at Marianas Trekking, 323-8735.
Today's high 91, the low 80, heat index 103, humidity 62%. Tomorrow, it will be as hot as the 4th of July. Get out the barbecue and the sunscreen. It'll be partly sunny, a few showers here and there, don't worry about it. East winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, high 91, low 80. Seas calm 2 to 4 feet. Sunrise 5:51, low tide at 1:16. Sunset at 6:51. And more good news, what a great Friday it is. A full moon this weekend, so celebrate independence and the moon. That is your news, sports, and weather. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. It starts right now. We'll see you back here Monday.